Yes, and this is a contentious issue, and I have a couple of points to make on this. One is a moral point, the other is a legal point. Um, it has been said, and in fact, it was reiterated by none other than the Chief Justice of India, that Dr. Ambedkar wanted reservations for a limited period of time. He was for reservations, but he wanted, I think, for 10 years, or was it 20, 30 years that the Chief Justice said? Now, I have no objection to that. The problem comes with perpetuity. The problem comes with the state not deciding that there is obviously a creamy layer. And I don't mean it in a very disparaging way. I don't like the word creamy layer when we talk of people who've been dispossessed, for centuries. But there is a strata among those people who have sought reservations and have been given reservations, who've now come up. Come up again is a very, if you were to be politically correct, then we'll probably just lose half the words that we have in the English lexicon. But so pardon me, but I'm going to use the words that are in common usage. Yes, a lot of people, Indians, have led, traditionally are still leading a life of privilege. A lot were denied privilege. It is a fact of India. And India is a country that has proudly worked towards eradicating it. And there are laws, there are reservations when you talk about. But when the person who was discriminated against the most, called an untouchable, and actually felt the real brunt of untouchability, Dr. Ambedkar, and as the Chief Justice said, that he himself wanted it for a living, because he realized once you give reservations to someone, within a period of 5 to 10 years, that person comes up, quote unquote, comes up and is at the same level as the people who've not been given reservations. Then is there any point in giving reservations to the members of that person's family? That the state has to decide. But here the state is too scared. When Dr. Ambedkar is not scared and said that fearlessly, why should the present state be scared? But you've seen there is palpable fear amongst politicians to address this issue. That's point number one. Point number two is the moral issue. The state should be thankful to the people who have accepted giving reservations, and as a result, they themselves have not been given reservations. India should be proud of them, not disparage them and throw them towards this guilt complex. But at the same time, you've seen how the US Supreme Court has, of course, there are no reservation, but there is this affirmative action in Supreme Court of US came down against it. Here we have reservations. Here we have meritorious students who are not from the reserved classes. Quote unquote, they have suffered because of reservations. You talked about jobs, you talked about exams, you talk about students' admissions to colleges. In some places, the quotas are as high as 90%. In Tamil Nadu, you talk about that. So yes, reservations are needed, but the people who are suffering because of the reservations, we should be thankful to them. Why are they suffering? Is this question normally asked in this country? No, it isn't. It's a crying shame. Let's talk of someone, a student from the Brahmin community. Has he committed atrocities towards reservation people? From the depressed classes or Dalits? You are conjecturing that his great grandfathers did, or his you are conjecturing that. You have no proof. But on the basis of that conjecture, you've decided that merit is no longer applicable. And this person, Brahmin or someone, from the other castes who are not, from Dalit community, you've decided that this person will not, get reservations, and this person is evil. We will stomp upon him. We will make him feel guilty. That's horrible. What is the fault of this young boy? We, as politicians, as a political class, as a society, have become so unemotional about this issue that we stop thinking about it. And it will come back to bite us in the past, because then slowly this anger will rise that I am being subjected to this discrimination, and people aren't even grateful, or forget about grateful, they aren't even thankful. So this issue has to be addressed, and people should be thankful. I thank every kid who accepts reservation, because it is not a just system for them. It is not. You can say they are still part of privilege and there, but look, he did not discriminate. And can I also ask, why is there no reservation in the judiciary? Why is there no, if the Supreme Court wants reservation, is there reservation for the Supreme Court bench? So why are there double standards there? So you want reservation for in college admissions so that this poor kid who's never discriminated against anyone, but because you conjectured that his great grandfather possibly discriminated against someone, let this guy also quote unquote suffer. But you don't want to do this sitting in the Supreme Court. And nobody bats an eye. The politicians never ask this question to the Supreme Court. I will ask this because I already have a contempt of court. So if another one comes, I don't really care. But you see these double standards. It's just horrendous. And the third final thing is, I genuinely believe there is a moral argument for reservations. Now, if there is a moral argument, then we must go for it. Then we must have reservations. But there are two things here. One, we can also have reservations as an incentive, and I'm talking about private, companies, because people have asked that there are many states who want to thrust this upon private companies as well. Now, thrusting for anything for on a private concern is a no-no for me, because then what you're doing is dictatorial. But you can give incentives like many people do. You have tax breaks and tax incentives states give for attracting companies. Likewise, you can give incentives that if a company, as a moral argument, if you really want the lower strata or the depressed strata of the society or Dalits to come up, and you really want reservations as a moral entity, and you want to give them, then you give some incentives, tax incentives or other incentives to the companies or private players, that if they have 5% quota, 10%, we'll give them incentive. You can't thrust things on private concerns, which both non-BJP and BJP governments are now intent to do. So take it from me, in the next 10 years, 15 years, a lot of governments, center also might come in, will start having reservations for private quotas as well. And it's a road where everyone just wants to play vote bank politics. People are genuinely scared to talk about moral issues, legal issues, and issues that give justice to the people who have not made anyone else suffer, who have not discriminated, but their ancestors did, purportedly.